David Radford, Willits resident. Good afternoon. I asked the Board of Supervisors to delay support of the bypass until all the viable low-cost, low-impact solutions have been examined, which have been discussed plenty, but the unused railroad corridor was once endorsed by John Pinches, so...
And early thrown out as an option.
Okay. Well, it's back in.
Go ahead, David, please.
The EIR for this project is badly flawed and grossly omitted examining these alternatives, and it's this group's responsibility to stand up and protect our community from that gross omission. And this version only meets a narrow group of the community, and I guess those who are irritated enough by stoplights to spend $300 million to go around them. It's quite literally overkill by putting an unnecessary highway through our valley over thriving wetlands and headwaters of the Eel River, and doesn't deal with the congestion problems in town or critical connection to Highway 20. I appreciate Caltrans' energy and money to move lots of dirt and do impressive feats of engineering. I asked to redirect that energy in a more creative and intelligent way. There is room for improvement here. Please delay this support letter and let's explore sensible solutions that address the needs of a broader range of goals. Let's use a scalpel, not a club.
Thank you. David Parch. We'll hear from David, and then we're going to wrap up, and we will come back at 1:30.
Hello, my name is David Parch. I'm also from Willits. I'm going to take a completely different take on this whole issue because I believe that all of the details and all of the arguments, both for and against the bypass, have been presented, and you should actually, even before today, be well enough informed that you have taken into account every detail from both sides of the perspective. If you're not willing to take all that into consideration, I don't see how you can take a vote on this today without having taken that all into consideration. But that's why all these people are here today, is to make sure that you've at least heard these issues at least one time. What I would like to do is to talk about something very different. In January of this year, a group of people called the National Climate Assessment and Development Advisory Committee, a group put together by our own federal government, issued their National Climate Assessment. This assessment, basically speaking, confirmed all of what we already knew, all of the people that have been following this issue for years and years and years, what we already knew. It gives an unambiguous story about the nature of global warming. It's happening now, it's happening rapidly. Industrial emissions are the chief driver, and lastly, action is urgently needed. This is now the official statement by our federal government that climate change is in front of us, and it will require every possible effort we can make to turn it around. It's already too late to stop a lot of it from happening. We know that. We know that scientifically. Even if we were to stop every CO2 emission today, every single emission, we would still witness more global warming. We have to do everything in our power to change this situation. Why? Because if we don't, our future generations will suffer immensely if they're fortunate enough to survive at all. That is the bottom line. To say that you want to support this bypass and send this letter of support is to say you're giving up on future generations. It's that simple. I point out that two very intelligent young people went before me to speak. I feel sorry for them. I'm an old man. I'm ready to die.
Thank you very much, David.
Thank you. My name is Pam Brown. I live and work in Willits, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. On my slip, I put Caltrans/Willits. Why? This project is not for the benefit of my community, my county. It is for the benefit of Caltrans, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to hear that loud and clear. It might also interest you to know I am the daughter of a retired Caltrans worker. Yes, indeed, Keith R. Brown, Paradise, California, who also says, gee, hon, I hope this doesn't happen in your community, because we talk about it frequently, okay? So I am very emotional about this. And I saw the sign out there that said, support me, you represent me, not Caltrans. Well, gentlemen and ladies, indeed, you do represent us and not Caltrans. So I am asking you to take that seriously. And in this day and age, I work in human services, okay? I'm a psychotherapist. And oftentimes, programs and things that people such as myself want and would wish for our community cannot be funded because the economy is hurting, tax dollars are scarce, and I turn around, and I understand that, I've understood that for years. I turn around and I hear about a $300, possibly $400 million project when the light traffic problem in my town can be solved safely and effectively to about 1/10 of the cost, and I am outraged. I've understood for years why my little dreams about mental health cannot be fulfilled, okay? But now I'm looking at good people who are hurting, who are hungry, and this money is going to go to hell on a highway. And then I learned the other day, that when people come into town south of Brown's Corner, there will be more of a delay on the traffic. They'll have to decide which way to go. So it'll even make more of a traffic problem. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Pam.
This is a test. Are you listening to the people? My name is Ronald Lippert. A long time ago, I was in charge of Northern California for the United States Department of USDA, for the Animal Welfare Act. And the only person I can call when you stepped out of line and did the Caltrans thing was a U.S. Marshal. I dealt with Caltrans numerous times a long time ago because they use their vehicles to pick up things like elephant seals, saying it's in the way, when I would just say, you gotta go around that elephant seal. They just pick it up, and I'd say, I gotta go to a phone. I'd have to call the U.S. Marshal. That's all I would be able to call. If you go on the federal site, they still claim I'm still a federal agent, even though it's been a long time ago, last century. Now, I'm in my 60s. I know most people think I'm in my 90s, but I'm in my 60s. So in the 1960s, when we stood up for things, we thought when we'd be in our 60s, the majority of people would get smarter. Now I'm looking up there on the board, and I would say maybe 3 of you are at least in your 60s. So what happened? Is it the Gatorade? Are you pro-GMO? You're smoking cigarettes? You go to McDonald's too often? It affects the brain capacity. You know that? Now, when I go over there Thursday, Friday, Saturday on this little bypass thing, we'd ever call it, it's an Occupy invasion going on. When the CHP comes over to me and asks me for my ID, and I have to respond to him, and I go, did you go to school? Is this the highest job you can ever obtain? Are we being invaded and occupied because they're going to ram down my throat where they're going to tell me what's right? Well, you know what's going to be right. You're going to do what the right thing is, or are you on the right? So, when the people realize they're going to be pushed into the corner at a certain point, like rats, they're going to do something about it. You might not like the results of that. Some of you know what happened in the 1960s. Pen's not good in your mouth. That's a lot of germs. A lot of germs. Don't get too nervous. Calm down. Sympathy about your wife, by the way. Yeah, it's out to that. So life's important. I see you, John. I see you going up to the Kate Wolf thing, and why are we living over here? I lived 17 years in San Francisco. To create the next Santa Rosa, the next San Francisco? No. We want Mendocino County. You know what the motto is here? Another time and another pace. So you need to, that's the official legal motto. Did any of you know that? That's the legal motto. I used to come out here when I was a Fed. They'd come out here to have their silly little meetings on how to do the number 2 pencil to Mendocino County because it was another time, another pace for the environment that you want to destroy for a couple of bucks. Well, good health to all.
Thank you, Ron. Next speaker, Cynthia Racer Jevons, followed by Alan Sunbeam and Cheryl McFadden.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Reiser Jevons. The bypass is an environmental and economic disaster for Willits. It will cause a huge loss of quality of life on many levels. If someone actually studies the facts about the project, the facts about the irreversible damage the bypass would cause, I believe there is no possible way a thoughtful and intelligent person could continue to support this project. Fortunately, it hasn't yet been built. If we are wise enough to stop now and change direction, we may still be able to save Willits. This plan will build 6 miles of raised roadbed, including a 1-mile viaduct up to 30 feet high. That's the equivalent of 2 to 3 story high buildings through the middle of our valley and over one end of our town. This is ridiculously out of proportion for the area that it will be located in. In the approved EIS-EIR, Caltrans has clearly stated that a 2-lane project does not meet the purpose and operational need of the project, and yet this is all that has been funded, and this is the project that is going forward. It's going to be dangerous, too, as there's no center divide and no emergency access. How will emergency assistance reach the victims of an accident in the middle of a 6 miles of raised 2-lane highway, 2 or 3 times as tall as the buildings that we are in right now? This plan will fail to solve the local traffic problems that are actually the cause of the congestion on Highway 101. This plan will remove from agricultural production 50% of the total land available to grow food for Willits. Willits now has 4,000 acres of agricultural land, which is enough area to grow the food for all the 13,000 people in the Willits area. The approved EIR states that 104 acres of farmland will be affected, but that is not true. The Caltrans current project ensures that 2,000 acres of land will be directly and indirectly impacted. Even the Farm Bureau opposes it, and this is why it has joined the federal legal suit against this project. This plan will install 55,000 wick wells, which will drain, collapse, and compact the wetlands of the Little Lake Valley to support the weight of the bypass, ensuring severe depletion of a valuable local water table and valley wetland ecosystems. What are the full implications of this loss of water? If Willits wells go dry, where are people going to go to look for answers as to why their wells went dry? They're going to be right here asking you why the bypass was more important than their well water. The Willits Bypass is a gigantic, dangerous monstrosity that will ruin our beautiful, peaceful valley. If you supported it in the past, it is not too late to change your mind. Please revoke your support for the Willits Bypass. Do not vote to approve the letter to Caltrans Director Doherty. There is a better way. Let us find it.
Thanks.
Your name.
I'm Julia. I'm from Redwood Valley. I never cared about the bypass. You know, I thought that it was a good idea until I learned some of the details. That story will be repeated tens of thousands of times as more and more people outside of Willits learn what's going on. You know, in the next few weeks, the noise, people coming and going, the work we're doing to let people know is going to make a huge impact. In 10 years, if the project gets built, people will look back at $300 million spent, a crumbling Willits economy, an empty freeway, and wonder who let this happen. This will be your legacy, and nothing else you do in your political career will matter. This is what matters. So, I mean, I fully 100% believe that if you send this letter to Doherty and make this case, you'll find yourself on the wrong side of political opinion. So, on another note, I read the Mendocino County General Plan this morning, took out some relevant points. that I wanted to share with you. I don't really think I need to have copies here, but I just want to say that there's probably 50 points in here that directly conflict with the Caltrans bypass. And if you're worried about breach of contract with contractors, you should probably be more worried about breach of contract with Mendocino County citizens. So, Chairman
Thank you.
Hamburg, you're my supervisor, and I know you'll do the right thing.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Board. Thank you for inviting us here for comment. My name is Rose Ireland. I'm a local biologist and musician, and this morning I heard one of the members say that they had wanted to thank Warbler themselves, and
Excuse me,
here's
Rose.
Warbler right now. You're on, Warbler.
I'm on?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Amanda, also known as Warbler recently. I've been sitting in a tree on the proposed bypass route for almost 60 days, and I'm sure a lot's been said already, but I'm up here because the people of this county and their representatives are better than this. Right now I am witnessing just the complete destruction of the grove and the hillside right next to my tree. My home is under attack, and I know we can come up with a better solution, but you need to listen. Clearly, there's a large percentage of people who are strongly opposed to this bypass, and what's it going to take, for us to be heard? We, the people, should not be driven to such extremes. We're putting our lives on hold. We're putting them on the line. We're tree sitting. We're protesting. We're getting arrested. Is this the only way we can be heard? I'm suddenly a criminal because I care enough to do something. I have CHP officers around the clock at the tree. They've basically occupied the valley. If we were being counted or listened to or taken seriously, we would not be here doing this job. That should be done by the agencies and representatives that are put in place to protect our freedoms and the freedoms and the very lives of our children, the future of humanity, all that stuff. I'm not up here because this is fun. I'm up here as a representative of the people of this valley, and I'm up here to be heard. All I'm asking is that you listen. Now is the time to take a serious look at the long-term effects that this bypass would have on our community. We need to come up with something better to stop this absolute monstrosity. Look at the facts that are being presented to you right now. This is insane. This is an insane project, and it's way too large. This is, this is Willits. We don't need a 6-mile-long 4-lane freeway. It's a bottleneck that was set up for this bypass. I don't really know what else to say.
That was great. Thank you very much. I think someone here wanted to thank you. I heard that this morning.
Yeah, for enduring the windstorms that we've had for the last month or so.
He's thanking you. Supervisor Pinches is thanking you for enduring the
I
windstorms.
couldn't even climb the tree, not alone sit in it for a
He
while.
says he couldn't even climb the tree, let alone sit in it. So he's thanking you. And everyone
Thank you,
here,
Rose.
Everyone here is thanking you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Jessica Rubin, and I live in Southern Humboldt. I regularly drive on Highway 101 through Willits. I go down to San Francisco quite often, and rarely do I experience traffic problems at all. Certainly not enough to denote spending $300 million on a highway that requires filling in a wetlands. The wetlands and surrounding trees are life-sustaining. We are experiencing a water crisis. This is not the time to be draining a wetlands. We need water for everything to live. We're experiencing a climate crisis. The last thing we should be doing is paving over living earth and filling in a wetlands. As human animals, we are interconnected and interdependent on all of life's species. We are in the 11th hour. The time is now. If we want life on Earth to continue, we have to make plans in terms of local businesses and farming and work to create healthy wild lands. You owe it to yourself and to all of us and your communities to support a solution to the minor traffic situation that doesn't carelessly destroy life. It is time for us all to unite as Earth beings to affirm life, because that is all we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Spring Sinertia, followed by, I think it's Colby Friend and Elizabeth Rydell.
Thank you. I grew up in Willits, and I've lived here my whole life, save for some years when I went to school. And I've never seen this many young people at any meeting, anything like this. And I wrote down some things, but I'm really struck by how many young people have come, some of them with their families, to sit here for a lot of boring hours for children. And I feel that we, as people who are maybe under 50 and still raising our own families, perhaps have a different perspective than people who are older. And our perspective is reaching into a future that most of us probably can't imagine what it's going to look like in terms of climate change and water shortage and fossil fuel depletion. And I feel that this project is part of an old system where we needed highways to get things all over the place, and things are changing, and they will look different in my lifetime and my children's lifetime. And decisions like this need to be made in that, with that framework in mind. And the more involved I've gotten in this particular issue, the more disheartened and upset I've become, because I feel like it's upsetting to see the environment taken so lightly and a corporation taken so seriously. But I came to this meeting today because I still believe, I've always believed in the efficacy of the Board of Supervisors, this level of county government. I read your bios last night, every one of them that was up there. You guys come from here. You are connected to this place. You care about this place. You know about this place, just like I do. And I'm just asking you to make a decision that's not based on an old way of thinking, and that's based on caring about this particular place. There's no way, I know that there's good engineering and they come up with all kinds of plans about how you can re-engineer a wetland and how you can mitigate it somewhere else, but you can't know all of the unforeseen consequences. That's what the precautionary principle is about. And so, yeah, we can fix it. We can fix all these things that are going to happen because we're building a project in a wetland. But my suggestion is that maybe we find a different place to build this project and not rely on untested science. So I appreciate you listening all morning to people, and I hope that you actually are open to deeper consideration of this issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, board. My name is Colby Friend. I'm a resident of Willits. I'm a business owner there. I'm a homeowner there. I have 4 children in the Willits schools, 1 on the way. I think that arguably I'm as invested in Willits as anybody could be in the here and now and in the future. And you know, John Pinch has referenced these decisions were made in the 60s and the 80s, and you know, I wasn't here then, but I'm here now, and I'm against it now. And I think everybody's against it now. That should be obvious to you. And if anybody's for this bypass, where are they? They're not here today, but everybody against it is here, and not even everybody. John Pinch has named off a number of cities that have been bypassed: Healdsburg, Cloverdale, Santa Rosa, and such. Those are all the cities that I bypass on my way north and south, that I don't stop and spend money. I don't stop there because they have been bypassed. You also, I hear a lot of, it's too late. Construction's already started. It hasn't been built yet. It cannot be too late. It's a big project. If it's too late to stop a $300 million project because we've cut down a couple trees, we're not thinking human beings anymore. We're not ants. We're a machine. We have to be able to pull back if we go down the wrong path. I mean, I knew this was a bad idea when I saw that there was no access to Highway 20 off this bypass. I mean, that's the one other highway in Willits. How are you not going to connect to the one other highway in Willits with your highway? But we've also heard a lot about wildlife destruction, pierced aquifers, nuclear waste transportation through the town. I don't know every detail about all of these, but it should be of a concern to this board. Based on the charter that this young lady brought and read for you all about protecting the quality of life of the citizens of Mendocino, it should be of a big concern, because it's a concern to me, all these citizens here. We're all very concerned, and you're our elected representatives, so it should concern you. And you should make sure that we're protected. Have we got guarantees that there won't be pierced aquifers and wildlife destruction, that the salmon will be safe? I don't think so. I don't want you to send the letter, for sure. I mean, that seems like the point should be moot at this point. But please, I'm asking you to be even more proactive and oppose this. Help us oppose this so that we can just sit back and think about what the best solution is. There's a lot of great minds here, and they all want to help you. So just do your best to oppose this, at least for the time being. Let's figure it out.
Anyway. Thanks, Colby. Appreciate it.